with the Raiders picking up the rear. But let's start at the very top. Pete, the Chiefs just continue to get it done, but now comes the biggest test of the year in Buffalo.
Yeah, and they haven't played great football, but they're playing winning football, and ultimately that's all that matters. You win, you stay at the top, and they deserve to be in the top spot. It's a tough week this week. You go on the road against a team like Buffalo that's ready and waiting for you, and always you're their nemesis. This is going to be a tough spot to stay unbeaten. But like I said, and I said it a couple weeks ago, if they win this game, the Chiefs, they're running the table and going undefeated.
Yeah, they're getting healthy at the right time. I just saw Isaiah Pacheco. His practice window has opened off of IR, so this team is going to get healthy. Chiefs finding a new way to win every single week. A team of destiny almost, Pete.
It's just too bad their left tackle's not very good because he's not a good player at all.
Spinning top?
Really,
that's the matchup this weekend.
That's a bad. Greg Russo against
that's the matchup.
Against Morris going to be a problem.
Pete, you had the Bills coming out of the AFC and going to the Super Bowl. Do you think that they are the best team in the AFC?
I do.
And they're going to win this game?
I do, but there's always the asterisk next to that.
Yeah.
No, the Bills are going to win this week, but there's always the playoff situation. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes. That's all you have to say. And nothing else about the Chiefs. The Chiefs' defense was great last year, but it was because of Patrick Mahomes. He made plays when he had to. He hit Valdez-Scantling in the championship game. Those are the kind of plays that you count on for Patrick Mahomes. That's why it's hard to go against the Chiefs, but I did. I picked the Bills.
Yeah, that's why I always have Andy Reid at the top of the Coach of the Year charts, because, you know, you never know what's going to happen in the National Football League, but the Chiefs find a way to scramble, adjust, and land on their feet like a cat falling out of the tree, man. That's the Kansas City Chiefs every single week.
Wow.
And they proved they can go into Buffalo and get the win. They did it in the playoffs last season. So many of those matchups between the two have been in Kansas City, but the last one was in Buffalo. This one will also be in Buffalo. So the Lions are 3. Then at 4 and 5, another matchup this week, also on CBS. Number 4 Ravens play at number 5 Pittsburgh. Pete, the moon ball is working out pretty well for the Steelers.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you blitz them in certain situations and leave a one-on-one with Mike Williams and you throw a moon ball to get the game winner, of course it's working. But, you know, look, he completed 50% of his passes, Russell Wilson. Has he been better than Justin Fields? Sure, he's been better than Justin Fields. They're scoring more, so clearly he's been better. This Ravens defense is not the same defense, so this is a challenge for the Steelers, but kudos to Mike Tomlin. He made the decision, and people questioned it, including myself. He made the right decision. Russell Wilson should be starting at quarterback.
This is a team that was relying on their defense historically to win them some games. Justin Fields in there. I said he's doing enough not to lose them football games. You throw Russell Wilson in there, 30 points a game for the Steelers team. You have to take him seriously. But at the end of the day, you know those interim coach bumps that we talk about? We saw in New Orleans last week getting a big win. I wonder if having this change at quarterback gives them this bump, and how long is it going to be able to be sustained by the Pittsburgh Steelers, this offensive production?
Ravens the only 3-loss team that you have in the top 5, Pete. They've showed you enough to where that they are. It was a bad start for this team, but they have been really good since.
Yeah, and the offense is dynamic. Lamar Jackson is fantastic. The way he's throwing the football, he's never thrown it and made it this easy. He's the MVP, and I don't think there's any question about it right now. But I'm worried about their defense. I'll be honest with you. There's things that they've done this year that they don't normally do, giving up all those big plays in the passing game. Guys haven't stepped up. Guys normally you see making all these splash plays around the field, like Roquan Smith hasn't been as good. Matabiki played well last week, but he hasn't been as good. So I think this is one of those situations where maybe they're just feeling their way on defense and they'll get it going. Well, the challenge is this week. You play the Steelers. If that defense is going to show up at any point, it better show up this week.
AFC North, this is going to be a battle, a big rivalry. I know we saw them playing a rivalry game recently, but this is the Steelers. This is the team that's at the top. And, you know, I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. That's going to have to be the Ravens' defense against this Steelers team. They're going to have guys like Roquan step up. Guys on the back end make plays that they haven't made this season. The question mark is on the back end for that Ravens team. They're going to need to make some plays.
Save this for the picks we do in a little bit.
Let me see the AFC playoff picture right now with the Steelers. Half-game lead on the Ravens, so they would get that bye. Let's move over to a huge game, not the bye, but that game at home in the first round. Move over to the NFC, and we have a game for first place in the NFC East. It's the Eagles and Commanders to kick off the week. Pete, you dropped Washington 6 spots for that loss to the Steelers. Why?
Well, it's a home loss for one, and I saw some things in there I didn't like, and that was the real game to me that has to tell you what they are. And they blew a 10-point lead, and so I'm concerned about it. And now you go out on the road again this week. It's a real challenge for this young team. That's a young team. There are some veterans. We talk about the offensive line. There's some veterans on the offensive line, but there's a lot of youth at play on this team. So they have to learn how to hold 10-point leads in the fourth quarter, but they also have to learn now how to go out on the road on a Thursday against a division rival and handle business, because we're excited about them, and I love what I've seen from them. But now if you go back-to-back losses, one at home, one on the road in division, then you start thinking differently about them.
Yeah, you were looking to roll some momentum into this game this week for Jaden Daniels of the Commanders, and just the way they weren't able to get it done last week. Teams like this that are teams of destiny, the guys in the locker room feel like we got Jaden Daniels for a reason. Things are happening for a reason. You lose a game like that last week, you got to find a way to turn it around. It'll tell us a lot about this team.
As a player, though, Kyle, don't you like it that it's a short week and you can try to get that bad taste out of your mouth right away?
No. I
want
want as much time between the games as I possibly can have. I mean, you know, when you're talking about you're going to be playing in a physical game against this team on Thursday, you're going to want as much time to get your body ready to go and do that for 4 quarters. And I feel like the Thursday thing is always a touchy subject with me, because you want to play the game physically. You don't want to save anything. You want to leave it all on the field. And then you want to have that window to be able to regain, take your best shot. And they're going to need it this week.
And not only that, they're on the road. I mean, it's not a long road trip, but you're still
It's a train ride.
You're disrupting what you normally do, though.
I think if you were to look at the most pleasantly surprising teams in the NFL, it's an argument between either the Commanders or the Arizona Cardinals right now, who are leading their division. They've won 4 straight. They're up to number 12 in Pete's power rankings. How big of a problem could they be in the NFC?
Well, they're tough. They play hard. They're physical. And they've taken on the personality of their head coach. That guy's done a great job. By the way, the defensive coordinator is really Nick Rallis is a guy you got to keep an eye on. He's young. He's in his 30s. He's done a really good job. I think you look at that talent on the defensive side of the ball, you go, how the heck are they doing it? But they show up every single week and play hard and play tough, and they get after it on that side of the ball. And oh, by the way, Kyler Murray's playing the best football.
Yep.
I mean, this guy is making it look easy. Talk about making it look easy. He's making it look easy for him. And by that, I mean, he's always been one of those guys that wants to get out of the pocket, chop his feet, go run, get out of there, first hit of pressure. He's making plays with the football, throwing it. And to me, yeah, he can still run it, and we know that, but I still think this team is dangerous. And I didn't think they would be in the division. But now after watching the Rams on Monday night, I'm not so sure they're not dangerous in the division.
Yeah, they are dangerous in the division, and I got to think about the way that Kyler Murray has played this year has changed the narrative from everybody's got a plan until Kyler Murray takes off and runs with it. Well, now Kyler Murray has a plan in the pocket. He's playing an MVP level of quarterback this year for the Arizona Cardinals, and the whole team is following suit. I love their guys. Connor, McBride, Harrison Jr. has done a really good job.
The offensive line.
To your point, the offensive line's great. We love Paris Johnson. And
Awesome.
then the defensive side of the ball, they're competitive every week, so it's hard not to love this Arizona Cardinals team.
And by the way, their schedule, favorable. I mean, they have games with Carolina and New England. Those games are winnable, and they had Seattle twice. So they're on the bye, but when they come off the bye, they go to Seattle. So you look at this team, I think they have a real chance to make the postseason.
I'd hate to be on a bye week right now if I'm the Arizona Cardinals. I'm like, let's just go play.
Even if they don't win the division, I think they have a chance to be a wild card team.
Now they're coming off back-to-back blowout victories, 29-9 against the Bears, 31-6 against the Jets. Let's go to the Texans, who have lost 3 of 4. You have them down at 14 now. They're the only division leader, Pete, that doesn't have a positive point differential. What's going on with this team?
Well, they should be very thankful they're in the division that they're in, because the rest of those teams are bad, and that's a positive. We all thought some of those teams, at least I did, some of those teams would be pretty good. I think C.J. Stroud in the second half was really bad the other night, and most of the time this season I blamed it on his offensive line. Kyle would never admit that, but the offensive line has been bad. They made changes. They moved Patterson in at center and moved Scruggs to left guard. He struggled. Scruggs did at left guard. The offensive line's been an issue. He doesn't have his receivers. He doesn't have Nico Collins. But he looked great in the first half. And then the second half, it almost went away. And some of the, like, He had a chance to put that team, get 30 points, get to 30, and he was lazy and late on the throw deep down down the sideline. He allowed Carlton Davis to come over and pick it off. It was a great play, but he should be a touchdown. The game's over if he scores there. And so I think he's got to pick it up a little bit. And I think the offensive line starting to come together a little bit. I think with the changes they made, they'll be better. But this team needs to play better.
With Nico Collins going down early, they were having such a historic connection there between Stroud and Collins, and then you lose Diggs. I mean, the seeds of doubt start to sow themselves in your mind as a quarterback or as a football.
Las Vegas Raiders fans, today we bring you some key news for the second half of the season. Gardner Minshew will remain the team's starting quarterback, which means he will be in charge of leading the offense in the crucial Week 11 game against the Miami Dolphins. Coach Antonio Pierce announced the decision after the bye week, noting that Minshew is the best option moving forward. This week, I felt like Gardner gives us the best opportunity to move forward, said Pierce, who also made other major changes to the offense, such as firing coordinator Luke Getsy and promoting Scott Turner as interim coordinator. Although many expected Desmond Ridder, who replaced Minshew in the loss to the Bengals, to get a chance as a starter, Pierce opted to keep Minshew. Ridder showed some flashes of talent, such as a touchdown pass to Brock Bowers, but also made key mistakes, such as a fumble, which has marked him throughout his career. Minshew, meanwhile, has had a rough season with 8 interceptions and a fumble. However, Pierce remains confident in him and his ability to improve. I feel good about the plan we have now to get it done, said Minshew, who knows that improving ball protection will be key for the final stretch of the season. The Raiders are going through a 5-game losing streak, which has put more pressure on the team. The offense, which has been inconsistent, needs to find stability, and Pierce hopes that Turner, in addition to his role as coordinator, can get the best out of Minshew. Also, Aiden O'Connell is not ruled out, who could return from his injury for Week 13, which could offer more options to the team at quarterback. Support from teammates has not been lacking either. Cornerback Nate Hobbs showed his confidence in Minshew, highlighting his work ethic and his ability to bounce back after bad games. I have faith in him. He can have a bad game, but he will bounce back and fight, Hobbs said. What do you think, fans? Do you think Minshew can lead the Raiders to a comeback in the second half of the season? Leave us your comments and don't forget to subscribe for more exclusive Raiders news. We have some big games ahead of us.